Hello and welcome to Creative Sewing. I'm Aideen Cross and I'm delighted you can join us today for the last in this series of the Made with Love tutorials in association with Healthy Ireland and Kildare County Council Bursary Award. Today, of course, we're going to be doing our bread baskets or Easter baskets, and it's just a little cotton basket done in crazy patchwork with two little handles, suitable for, of course, bread, hot cross buns, or some nice sweet treats as well. You would have received your craft pack in the post, and it has your all filled in with pattern, okay, and the back there then that's for your card to make it stiff as well, and we have our little introduction as well there, and of course a recipe for our hot cross buns, which is a great traditional at Easter, and certainly they're quite easily made. They're a Mary Berry recipe, and certainly I have done them, and they're very doable and very delicious indeed. So hope you get round to making those. In the pack then, of course, we'll have our little bit of stiffener, bond web, of course, as well, a little bit of fabric, and our cotton then. But of course you could use your own cotton and your own little crafts, maybe recycling as well, wouldn't be any harm too. And the ribbon and the two little hoops then for the handle, and that should get us going and getting us ready then to do the little basket. Looking forward to it. Okay, so let's get started then. Now let's get started with this the Easter bread basket. And you have your pack there and with all your pattern in that. So we'll just leave that over to one side, and our recipe for the hot cross buns. I hope you get around to doing those, they're lovely. And this is the pattern, okay? So here we go with our paper scissors, just cutting around the edge there. It will be cut out to the folds. It says here fold, so you'll have to fold your fabrics to get a larger piece then. Now that pattern has 1 centimetre seam allowance on all the way around, except of course on the fold side. All right, so we'll go and cut out our little baleen piece, which is your soft material stiffener. Okay, so just put those out of the way. And folding them over, of course, we need a fold on it. So we're going to fold it over and put our pattern says fold on the fold. Okay, so of course we're not going to be cutting that side. We're going to be cutting everywhere else but that side. And with your fabric scissors then cutting it out. Okay, so that's that one cut out. And we need to do the same for our little lining, which is your little yellow and white gingham then for the inside. A nice Easter cut colour. Having our fold to the fold there, and then cutting it all around. Okay, so that's another one cut out. And then of course our bond web. Bond web is of course the glue and paper together. And now I have with the glue on the inside there at the moment. And of course I want you to cut the same again out on that. Having your fold to your fold, and then pinning it right through. And go back to your paper scissors now for this one now, because you might ruin your good scissors. That is your piece then done, so if you can take off your pins from that. And what we'll do next is we'll turn on our iron, and just to get it nice and warm, and we're going to lay that out on the table, and we're going to put the sugary side down, or the glue side down. So that's the glue side, and that goes down on top of your baleen piece. Okay, leaving over your lemon piece to one side. This goes down, and we're going to iron that on. No steam this time. If you can iron it on all around with a nice hot iron. That's it all ironed on, and then we need to pull it away then, making sure that your glue is left behind. Okay. So you have your glue facing up to you there now. Again, I've given you all scraps of fabric, but again you could use your own, and certainly recycling is great. And another way is actually if you want to recycle something that belonged to somebody, or somebody that a loved one, and that. Some of these pieces need to be ironed, so you might need to run the iron on them after being in the bag. Again, you might want to put the steam on. That's all our pieces done out and ironed. Some of them are okay, they don't need to be ironed. So let's start just with our crazy patchwork then, and just putting them down whatever way you want, you know, and rearranging them till you're happy. Don't mind if it runs over the edge, we can trim that off afterwards. So let's kind of, if you want, we can run it over the edge a little bit, okay. And cut these to shape to size to what you want, what looks good. You might want to cut some of them then as you come along to the shape that you want. You can overlap them a little bit, but not too much, because then that part won't be glued on. So just overlapping enough that we can stitch about 2 mil, I suppose, really on it. And then the part that you don't want overlapped, then you can trim it up. Ironed. Again, some of them might be too big. Now, if you get wrapped over a little bit more than 2 or 3 centimeters, that's fine too. It's just enough so you can keep remembering the glue is on the bottom there, so just that the glue is going to catch it for you. I think I have all that filled up there now. So if we can, ideally we probably should have done that up on the ironing board. Okay, so we have it there at that. And if you want, then, as I say, just turn on your steam, and we can use our steam then the whole way along. Sticky here and there, so I've most of it done there now. Just turning it over, just give it a right good go then. Okay, that's all our pieces on there now. Now the thing is to stitch them. So what I had done on this one here is actually stitched it with a little feathered stitch on the machine, okay, like a super stitch all the way around, joining along the edges with a different colour. I brightened it up and actually did it with an orange, okay. And actually, in actual fact, I had a heart in one of them. I did a little felt heart in the bottom of it. So you can do that as well. I haven't done it here, but you could do that, and it just kind of, it's a sneaky little heart into it with our, in our Made with Love tutorials, just to kind of finish it off too. So all around the edges and all the seams need to be done. So I'm going to do the same again. I'm going to put on my feathered stitch, which mine is number 8, and then I turn it to super stitch, which means it goes back and forward a little tighter as well, okay. But you could just do a zigzag around the edge and tighten it up a little bit as well. Tighten it up to number 2 or 1.5, and just start somewhere and go for it, literally. And the seam needs to be in the center, so whatever seam you have there needs to be in the center of the feet, okay. So you're getting a feathered effect across it, okay. Done. It takes a good bit of time to go around it all, and even at that now you'd find a little piece that you haven't done. Now that's it. I think I have it all sorted now. So you have a lot of threads now to cut. Isn't it a great way of using up old scraps from your scrap bag and that? And certainly if you use them, if you make it out of something like old children's clothes and stuff like that, isn't it, and give it to the granny, you know, it's great memories in it too, you know, looking back on patchwork and stuff like that, the memories of each piece. Now again, the outside of it is kind of, I have made, it's bits have gone out over the edges, so we'll have to go and trim those just so we get our size right again. Now, there we go. So that's our piece there now, and of course then we have our other yellow piece here to put on top, okay, and I don't think there's much of a right or wrong side. I'll use that as our right side. So place it on top and then pinning it then in the corners. And we need to leave an opening then, of course, to turn. We're going to do 2 right sides together, of course, okay. We're going to leave an opening then on one side. Now 2 right sides together, and making sure to leave your end open because we want to be able to put our card in yet. So you're only sewing around 3 sides for now. But it is good for, you might need plenty of pins in it to keep it in place. A little bit of stretch in it and giving it. So taking out your pins and cutting your corners. You can miter your corners, cutting them at an angle, just when you turn it in the right way, just to get rid of any bulk, okay? And then we need to turn it in the right way then. I'm poking out the corners. Up on the ironing board, and of course your end is left open, so we want to turn in a hem on that and press all around the other sides as well. So just press, folding in just to get a nice hem on the very edge, of course, as well, all right, and pressing it all around as well, okay. Now after ironing it, of course, we want to go around the edges with our little feathered stitch, okay. So we have our little feathered stitch here on the edge, and it's literally on the very edge, and I was doing it with a deeper colour, okay. Now we're only going to go around, of course, 3 sides. So starting at the edge, we have our edge opened here. So starting at the edge and just on the very edge, or a super stitch and a feather stitch, or the zigzag if you want it either. So starting near the top, okay, and just a little feathered stitch the whole way down, okay, and all around only the 3 sides. Now, okay, so that's our feathered stitch all the way around, okay, and just trim off any threads there. We have it at that stage now, and what we want to do is actually be able to draw out where we put the cardboard. We haven't put out the cardboard yet either. The 2 pieces of the cardboard are here, okay. So literally what we're going to do, these are the little markings here that you want to be able to chalk in, because you want to be able to stitch to slide your cardboard in through. So we're going to have to chalk them on. So there they are, the stitching. There's stitching there just for the cardboard then to go into for markings. So I get your piece of chalk, and if you can line up minus the seam allowance then over the edge, okay, and fold it back in, okay, and we'll just draw along the edges. If you have white chalk too, now I only have a little bit of green, okay, so along there and then along the end, okay, so we're folding back in along here, okay, and it goes right out to the edge there. Okay, so we're doing it in chalk, so you don't want to be able to see it too much, because I suppose you could do it in a little bit of pencil if you wanted as well, but make sure you go right out to the edge. Now you'll have to do the same on this other side as well, because this pattern's done in halves. So let your seam allowance run over the edge, again folding over like that, okay, and then marking it then with your chalk all the way along, and then doing the sides ones here as well, okay, and going right out to the end, so you'll get a kind of little box square in the corner, okay. So that should be it. So with a straight stitch now, okay, so we have our chalk. It might be over visible there, but I can see it. So you have your square there. Go back to your straight stitch, and you just an ordinary long stitch on this, okay. So what we're going to do is actually going to do the 2 longer pieces first, okay, and then we'll be able to slot in our cardboard. We'll have to put the cardboard out yet. So along that, just do the back stitch and just go straight up. Leave it a little bit of grace, a couple of centimetres from the edge, or a couple of millimetres from the edge. Don't finish it off, I suppose, just to give yourself a little bit of grace for doing the finishing off the feathered stitch along the edge as well, okay. And this one here, straight down, it's the 2 longer ones first, 2 longer bars first. Stitch there at that, okay. So that's those 2 done. Let's cut out our cardboard next, okay. So in a cereal pack or an old packaging from something from the post, and I'm going to use my paper scissors then to cut these out. So 2 of each. Okay, so 2 of these. So I'm just going to mark what I need on that. And that all cut out. So what we want to do is get one of our smaller pieces then, and we put it down, right down into the center, right down to the end. Okay, so that goes down there. Okay, so now we can do our seam across the end here. Okay, so straight stitch then, and right across. Okay, so cutting off your threads there now. I have the bottom cardboard in there, so it's the 2 side ones now after we've done the bottom stitching. Okay, and sometimes you might want to, to get like catching the thing, so just round off the corners. Getting it in might be a handy one to make it a little smoother getting it in. Push it right down. Now pushing it right down until it meets that seam. Okay, and then we have our other seam then to go across the top here with it's chalked across the top here. So watching out for your chalk marks. Straight stitch again. Okay, and that's it. So that's our last bit of cardboard then to go into the center. Okay, of those 2 little lines that are there. Okay, now and we have to finish off the opening here as well. So we have it folded, so matter of just folding it in over the cardboard and giving it a little bit of a pin first, and maybe just because it's thickish there now, and then we can run our little feathered stitch on it now as well. Okay. So that's your piece all made there now, and of course just make sure you trim up all your threads. And now just to do the corners now, so we can pull it together there on the corners, and I have mine just kind of sticking out. Now you can actually push them in and stitch it there and have a neater corner, but I kind of like the little wing on it. Of course some of them are done with ribbons as well, but you can tie them together. But I'm going to pinch it together like that, like so, and then I'm going to do a zigzag stitch on a 0. So I'm going to put a stitch on 0 and then do just an ordinary zigzag stitch. So it's zigzagging over and back and not going anywhere. So 4, 5, 6 times there, just on the top of that, just for catching that. So it's literally just caught on the very tip of it. Okay, again, pinch again the other sides. Okay, again, cut off any threads, pinch, have the 2 sides level, the seams then where you get them, you had your seaming and marking, get them together, and then just put a little stitch. Now you could do it by hand stitch there as well if you wanted. Okay, or you could decorate with a little bow on the corners if you wanted as well, or a flower, whatever you would want. We're getting all the corners done then. Okay, with your little tight zigzag just to tie off the top of the corner. Okay, and then of course cutting off your threads then. And that's your little basket done now, except for our little handles and our ribbons. Okay, so let's have a look at those and see what we can do. So we have our ribbons here and our 2 little handles. Okay, and what I'm going to get you to do is fold over. Well, I mean, some of you have 1 piece of ribbon, some have 2, so either way you want two pieces. Fold it over in half, and I'm going to get you again with that little zigzag and 0 to stitch it on at the sides here. Okay, because they're only tied on, that's all, the little loops. So this is just zigzag and stitched just on the top there, that in a 0 marking, and it doesn't go anywhere. And the same on the other side as well, in the center, just judging it by eye there. And again, just a little tight stitch, or you could do it by hand. So we're nearly there. Lovely little baskets now for anything you would want, to say for the hot cross buns if you can get to do them, which are great, and certainly, or for say treats or little chocolate eggs or whatever, or for anything for the summer or Easter or summer, whatever you would want. They're certainly a nice addition to any table, aren't they? So just putting that in there and tying it off in with a nice bow, just to give a little extra touch to the baskets. Okay, you can tie them off fairly tight. Okay, and then cut your ribbons then to size then as you want them. And again, putting that one on there, tying it tight with a good knot first before you. Yeah, and a lovely gift to get too. I mean, if you wanted to put bread or buns or something into it, and a lovely way of giving a gift to make a basket as well, isn't it? So that's your little bread basket all finished then there at that, and certainly looks great with the colours, very colourful indeed, and ready for a little something then to put inside then as well. Okay, that's it all done. Well, that's just our little bread basket done there now, with handles and all in the patchwork. I hope you've enjoyed and managed it well in the tutorial, and have a lovely Easter indeed, and I hope it's filled up with some nice treats indeed for you. We hope we'll be back with Made to Love series later in the year, and a big thank you to Healthy Ireland and Clare County Council for this bursary award. Certainly I've enjoyed the tutorial since Christmas, and I hope you have too. Take care. Bye bye.